Hello everyone, I'm Professor Capko, and I've got something completely different for you today, and believe me, it's going to be totally fun. But before that, I want to say that I believe something great is going to happen for you today. And now back to the video. If you're new to this channel, I normally make videos about accounting, math, legal studies, things along that line, but every once in a while I make some fun videos, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite games, and that is poker. And if you've never played poker before, I highly recommend it. And to help you get started, I'm going to talk about the winning poker hands so that you'll have a better idea of how to play the game. If you like this sort of thing and you would like to see some more videos like this, give it a thumbs up. That'll let me know that I can make some more fun videos for you, and it'll get fed out to others with the YouTube algorithm. So I really appreciate that. Also, I ask that if you are interested in the videos regarding accounting, math, legal studies, business law, things along that line, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. All right, now let's get into poker. I've got a deck of regular cards here today, and I actually like the jumbo cards. It makes it easier for me to see what my opponent has. Oh, no, not really. But does make it easier to see the cards. So if you've got folks that maybe their vision isn't quite as good as it used to be, or it also is easier on the eyes. If you are, so you can see it's bigger. It's a lot bigger, so it's easier on the eyes, especially if you're playing games for, playing poker late into the night. I'm not saying that I've done that, but I might have. So I like this. This is just one possible deck, jumbo. I've linked it in the description if you're interested in getting something similar to this. But let's talk about the various poker hands. All right, the lowest poker hand would just be the highest card. So the highest card in the deck, of course, is not the three of hearts. The highest card in the deck, of course, is the ace. And it wouldn't, if you're doing the highest card, it wouldn't matter what the suit is. When I talk about the suit, I'm talking about whether it's spades, diamonds, clubs, or hearts. These are the suits, and obviously there's two different colors. They're black and red, and we'll talk about that and the suits a little bit more with some of the other hands. But let's get back to what I was mentioning. The highest card in the deck would be an ace. It wouldn't matter what suit it is. The ace is always going to be the highest. So if you just have the highest card and somebody else has a matching highest card, well, then you would split the pot. The pot is the winnings, the money that you're betting. And, of course, you might be just betting pieces of candy or something if your jurisdiction doesn't allow betting real money. So you might bet pieces of candy or just poker chips, whatever for fun. But it's always more fun if you've got something at stake. Maybe it's who's going to take out the trash. You could just have something at stake just to make it a little more interesting. But the highest card would, of course, be the ace, followed by the king. The next lower would be the queen, the jack, 10, 9, 8, 7. Lower down to the 6, and then to the 5, 4, 3, and 2. And again, it doesn't matter what suit or what color it is. I'm just telling you that that's the order of the cards. So if one person has, say, a 4 of spades and somebody else has a jack of clubs, let me get this to focus a little. I apologize about the focus. And somebody else has a jack of clubs. The jack of clubs, of course, would beat the 4 of spades. So that's just the lowest level card winnings. Usually somebody will have something more than just the highest card, but it's certainly possible with the hands of poker that nobody has a pair or anything else. So then it would just be the highest card that wins. The next highest hand would be a pair. And it doesn't matter whether they're the same color or not. In fact, oftentimes they're different colors. Certainly they would be different suits because there's only one of each card for each suit. And of course, there's 52 cards altogether. But one pair beats the highest card. So if it's a pair of deuces, which is another way of saying a pair of twos, that would beat an ace, just a simple ace that somebody else has. So a pair would win, but a higher pair would beat that. So if one player had a pair of deuces and another player had a pair of threes, the pair of threes would beat the pair of twos. So this would be the winning hand in that case. So you want to get the highest pair possible. And depending on the game, the rules of the game, you might be able to draw cards. You might just get whatever is dealt, or you might be playing something like Texas Hold'em, where some of the cards are just dealt to the community in the center, called the flop. But anyway, the highest pair wins. And this kind of leads me to the next highest winning hand, which should be two pair. So two pair, no matter what they are, would beat one pair. So this hand, a pair of twos and a pair of threes would beat a pair of aces. So if you had two twos and two threes in your hand and I was holding two aces, you would win because you have two pair and I only have one pair. Even though my cards are higher than your cards, you still beat me because you have two pair. The next highest hand after two pair would be three of a kind. So if I've got three of a kind, I beat your two pair. So even if you had a pair of aces and a pair of kings, well, that probably wouldn't work in this case because I've got the other king. There's only four kings overall. There's only four of each card, right? One for each suit. But let's say you had a pair of aces and a pair of jacks, or a pair of aces and a pair of queens. I have three kings here, and that would be yours. This hand, for some reason, makes me think of Christmas. Do you know why? If you know why, put it down in the comments, just for fun. The next higher hand above a three of a kind is called a straight. This is just one example of a straight. You don't have to have this exact match of cards. The idea of a straight is it's 5 consecutively numbered cards, and they would not be in the same suit. So in this case, we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When I say consecutively numbered, I just mean in the order that you would count. So it could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or any 5 cards in order, and they're not the same suit. They wouldn't necessarily have to be the same color. The color doesn't really matter. These are of different suits, and this would be called a straight. The next higher hand would be the flush. The flush would be 5 cards, all of the same suit. So it could be, in this case, 5 hearts, or it could be 5 diamonds, or 5 spades, or 5 clubs, and they don't have to be in order. In a flush, they would not be in order or in sequential order, and I'll tell you why in a moment. But a flush would be 5 cards, all of the same suit, and they beat everything below this. And of course, whatever the highest card in your flush determines if there's more than one flush, which flush wins. The next higher hand is the full house. The full house is made of 3 cards that are all the same. In other words, 3 of a kind, plus a pair. The next higher hand in poker would be the full house. and that would beat everything below it. So again, we have three of a kind and a pair. That is a full house. The next higher hand in poker would be four of a kind. And if you've got more than one four of a kind, if somebody else has four of a kind, it's whatever cards are the highest. Likewise with the full house, whichever the top cards are the highest cards would be the winning full house if you have more than one. So anytime you have more than one of the same hand, whichever one has the higher top card is the one that wins. So four of a kind is the next higher hand in poker. Do you remember when I talked about the straight, which was 5 cards in consecutive order but of different suits? And when I talked about the flush, I talked about it being 5 cards of the same suit but not in order. The reason I distinguish those is because if you have 5 cards, all of the same suit, in order, then that is called a straight flush, and that is the next higher hand in poker. It beats all the hands that we've talked about to this point. So, and again, whatever the top card is, so if you had more than one straight flush, not very likely, but if 2 players had a straight flush, whatever one had the higher top card would win. And that brings us to what many people would say is the highest hand in poker, the royal flush. Now, I say some people say it's the highest hand in poker. There's actually a hand that is higher than this. And if you stick around to the very end, I'm going to tell you what it is. If you know, put it in the comments below. But this is the vaunted royal flush. It is 10, jack, queen, king, ace. It's got to be these cards. They have to be the same suit. So it doesn't matter what suit they are, just as long as they're all the same suit. So it's like a straight flush, but with the top cards. And again, this is, for all practical purposes, the highest hand in poker. You want to get one of these, and you should be able to beat everybody else, except for somebody who has the next higher hand, which is... Okay, are you ready to see a hand that will beat a royal flush in poker? Well, I'm about to show you. But wait a minute, Professor Capko. That's only a bunch of 3s and a 2. How can that possibly beat a royal flush? Well, I'm going to explain it to you. Sometimes we have wild cards, and that would be declared at the beginning of a particular hand. The dealer would declare a particular card as a wild card. Oftentimes it's the 2, and you may have heard the term deuces wild. Deuce means 2. Deuces wild, that would mean the 2 can be any card that you want it to be in your hand. So this hand would be 1, 2, 3, 4 threes, plus if you make the 2 a 3, this is a 5 of a kind. So a 5 of a kind would beat a royal flush, but you have to have wild cards to do that. And in fact, let me show you the highest hand possible in poker. Give me one moment. Here you go. This would be the highest hand in poker if you have deuces wild. So if you got wild cards, this would be the equivalent of 5 aces. This beats a royal flush. It beats everything else. There are no other aces in the deck. So therefore, I've got all the aces, plus I have a wild card. And so therefore, this is 5 of a kind. This would be the highest hand you can have in poker. So hopefully you had fun with this. I certainly did. I'd love to make some more of these for you. If you like this type of video, give it a thumbs up. Put something in the comments to let me know that you enjoyed it. What did I miss? Is there something else? Many of you are poker players out there, and I'm sure many of you know more than I do about the game. I've always learning more. So if there's something I missed or something else you want me to do a video about, put it down in the comments. Thank you.